Lady Ebonite Classic traversed the eastern United States over the past 15 years, producing 9 different champions. Leanne Barrett looks to win this event for the 4th time, but with 11 of 12 singles titles coming from the top seed position this season, Liz Johnson may be the only one holding the key to this championship. PWBA visits historic Columbia, Tennessee, located just 40 miles south of Nashville. Welcome inside Ebonite's Galaxy Lanes for the finals of the Lady Ebonite Classic. The competition begins tonight with a breakthrough game featuring Kim Terrell, Kathy Doran-Lizzie, and defending champ Leanne Barrett. The one with the highest score will break through to face last week's champion Carolyn Doran-Ballard in head-to-head competition, and the winner of that semifinal match will take on 10-time titleist Liz Johnson in the championship match. Hello, everyone. I'm Jan Schmidt. Thanks for tuning in. Top story tonight is Leanne Barrett. She's defending champ here, and she's won it 3 times in the past. She's looking for her 4th title on the season, which would put her 2 up in that important category for the Bowler of the Year race. Plus, if she finishes in the top 3 tonight, she'll break that $1 million barrier in career earnings. It's quite a plate full, and here to talk about that is my broadcast partner, 15-time titleist Kim Adler. Kim, all that potential for Leanne Barrett, what is she going to focus on?
She's going to focus on the same thing she's focused in on all week, and that is the task at hand. She doesn't want to think about the potential of being Player of the Year. She's come full circle this year, and I compare it to her namesake, which is Boomer Barrett. Like a boomerang, her career, she's come full circle. And she started early in her career with a great amount of success, and then she had some lean times, but it's come back to her like a boomerang, and she's savoring the potential of this being the best year of her career.
Well, our number 4 seed, Kathy Doran-Lizzie, is looking for her moment to shine. She's comfortable in the spotlight as one of my co-hosts, but this week, Kim, she stepped out into the sunlight, and boy, did she love it. She was positively glowing that night.
She was just sparkling like a diamond, and that's how I would compare her, like the 4 C's for diamond comparison. That's how we compare Kathy Doran-Lizzie, with the 3 C's for success this week. And those 3 C's would be calmness, consistency, and confidence. She's trying to improve her bowling game, and one of those improvements needs to be stepping out of the shadow of her sister, Carolyn Doran-Ballard. Tonight might be proving to be her ultimate test.
She's doing pretty well in her test so far tonight. She's trailing by just 9 pins. Kim Terrell in the lead by 9. Leanne Barrett trailing Kim Terrell by 14 pins.
Great shot there. She just made a ball change. That's the first frame she's thrown that ball, and it looks a lot better than her last shot.
That was a big double that actually puts Kathy in the lead right now momentarily. Leanne Barrett up. She's on a strike as well. All 3 ladies struck in the 5th frame, but Kim, it was ugly before that.
It was. It looks like the lanes really haven't settled in yet for a consistent shot. Best shot on that lane for Leanne in a few frames as well. So everybody's picking up the pace, I believe.
A little bit of break before we came on was probably a good thing. And those of you at home, like we said, you really didn't miss much. It wasn't very good those first 5 frames. The only thing you missed was Britt Savage. She used to sing background for Garth Brooks, and she recently debuted at the Grand Ole Opry. She treated us to a national anthem, and it was wonderful. Great way to start the tournament. Going up high.
Interesting there. That lane seems to be the oilier lane of the 2, and Kim was pretty good with her speed, with slower speed, and it just didn't work out.
1 title for Kathy Doran-Lizzie that came back in 1999, the 3 Rivers Open. And as you mentioned, she's really been working. She knows now she has to take charge of everything herself. It's all up to her.
She had a little help from Del Ballard this week as well, but it was more or less just that push to trust her instincts.
Exactly, and that's a hard thing to do when you're out there. 211 average for Kim Terrell. The scores were all over the board. Kim Terrell actually shot at 300 in the midst of a couple 160s, and an errant shot there on the spare, sliding by the 3-6-10.
The 3-6-10s were a difficult spare this week. If you got the ball, the plastic ball, to the right of, say, the 3rd arrow, you had a chance that it was going to slide too much.
214 average on the week for Leanne Barrett. And don't forget, this is the match. The breakthrough game is the one Leanne Barrett has to get through to break the $1 million tonight.
Focusing in on that task at hand. I hope she's continuing to do that tonight.
She continues to strike here, and I know she really wants to do it at an Ebonite tournament. She's on Ebonite staff, and it would mean a lot to her.
Of course, 14 years with Ebonite now. We're on a wood surface this week. The volume is pretty light, 23.79 microliters, 39 feet, a little bit on the longer side with a defense oil by Kegel Oil, and hopefully it holds up tonight.
And it is a sport bowling pattern once again.
1.8 to 1 ratio.
And I understand the scores were very different pair to pair.
They were, but pretty much this whole field stayed within the realm of a 170 to 220 average for scores across the board. It was important this week to keep away from those low games, which was very possible on some of these pairs to score a 140 game.
Yeah, that was the key to do that. Leanne Barrett's low game of the week. Actually, she had a 151. Kathy Dorn Lizzie a 152 and Kim Terrell a 153, so they had to shake those off and get the big games in there. Right now, Leanne Barrett working on 3, make it 4 in a row.
Great shot there. They're seeming to settle in now a little to the left of where Leanne is playing. There seems to be a little oil carrying down now.
Kathy Dorn Lizzie just making the 2-pin on that 2-5.
By the hair in her chinny chin chin.
She'll be able to breathe now for a moment. Meanwhile, Leanne Barrett now has the lead by 7 pins over Kathy Dorn Lizzie. Kim Terrell now working on a strike. Needing to get another strike here in the 8th to put herself back in the match. These games I was talking about in qualifying, she was in jeopardy of not making the cut. Shot a 162, 189 the last round, and then went 300. Followed it by 153.
Nice last round there. You know, we only took 25, or actually 24, top 24 this week to make a check, so not those extra 8 spots that we normally have to cash. So she was thinking 24 all the way.
Kathy Dorn Lizzie trailing by 7. She's in the 9th frame, really needs to set up a strike.
And this has been the hooking lane, and she got the speed up on that shot, and that was perfect execution there.
So Kim Terrell changing balls to shoot or spare.
Interestingly enough, as I mentioned earlier, the 3-6-10 was a little difficult. The 10-pin was very easy, so kind of unusual.
Oh, yeah. You know, Kim Terrell fortunate to be in this round. She was in 13th going into the last round of competition and averaged 226 for that last round to make it into the show.
She mentioned something about having the ability to miss right or left to get a strike, which is an unusual thing as a bowler out here. You just hope for one direction, and she got lucky to have those both ways. It relaxed her quite a bit.
Leanne Barrett, 9th frame on 4 in a row.
Using that oil to get that skid on that right lane.
I think she looked a little surprised that that one struck, but she'll take it. Now puts her up by 17 pins. Kim Terrell set up frame, and Kim just really only found it for a couple frames in the middle of the game.
This is a hard one for the Ebonite team that's surrounding us right now. They're all cheering on all the staff that's here, Kim and Leanne, and so hard to let one person win this match.
Well, Kathy Dorn Lizzie happy with this performance this week. Oh, needed to push that one out of there. She wanted to say hello to all of her friends at Jersey Lanes and Star Lanes because she does a lot of practicing out there.
I heard on the break she was doing a little painting as well as practicing, too.
You know, you have to mix it up. And it has gone from bad to worse for Kim Terrell, and she told us she's been having trouble the last couple of weeks finding the right combination. It appears to be having a little trouble tonight.
Of course, they change a lot quicker, and if you don't have a game plan right away, it's hard to keep up with those changes.
Leanne Barrett now in the 10th frame. She's on a double. We're going to need some pin count here. And that's enough pin count. 10 of them. Boy, did she turn this match around. And Kathy with a good, solid performance. 2:05 for Kathy Dorn-Lizzie. Leanne Barrett, she will advance, but not only that, she just went over the $1 million mark.
A sigh of relief.
Leanne now with 6 in a row. And she said all year it would be nice to break that here at the Ebonite tournament. Ironic how those things sometimes happen. So Leanne Barrett has the high score in the breakthrough game. And she will take on last week's champ, Carolyn Doran-Ballard, when we return. Final score of the breakthrough game, Leanne Barrett 231, Kathy Dorn-Lizzie 205, and Kim Terrell 168. As Leanne Barrett earned that $1 million, Bob Reed of Ebonite and Brian Purcell made a special presentation to Leanne. It's a necklace with the Ebonite symbol with 1 diamond for each year she's been a staff member. That would be 14 diamonds. What a beauty that is on a beautiful lady. $1 million in her career, and we're joined in the booth by Bob Reed, the Vice President of Marketing. And there's a look at the millionaires. Leanne Barrett, obviously the newest. That's thus far with third place money. She could improve upon that if she wins the next match or two. 4 millionaires so far. And Bob, it must have been a special moment for you as we see, obviously, maybe the emotion affected Leanne a bit. But
well, we hope not, but it was a special moment. Obviously, it's the Lady Ebonite Classic, and it's in our bowling center, and we have about 100 Ebonite employees here that drove 120 miles down from Hopkinsville to see the tournament. So it's pretty exciting.
Is there a tailgate party outside for all of them?
Yeah, we had a tailgate party for about 400 outside.
Well, I understand that you closed down second shift or something so they could be here. Did you do that?
Yes, we did. We had so many people that wanted to come down that we had to close down the second shift. And
great shot there. That was an amazing spare. One of those difficult ones you always love to make.
Yes.
It skids just the proper amount. I mean, we mentioned that 3-6-10 was hard enough to make, and she grabs the 4-pin with it.
What a way to open the match. Sorry to cut you off there, Bob, but that was a
problem. That was
huge
fabulous.
spare. Carolyn Doran-Ballard, 13 years on tour, 19 titles. What a year this woman had last year, the reigning player of the year. Ooh, a little light. And Bob Carolyn won here for her first singles title back in '94 and hasn't won an Ebonite title yet. What is it? You know, you put a lot of pressure on her or what?
A lot of pressure.
Do you? I heard you're that kind of guy sometimes.
Well, actually, they put the pressure on themselves. We don't have to do much.
Oh, all right. Okay. Well, she leaves a 7-pin here to start, and as she's backing off, maybe distracted from this large crowd, Bob. I mean, down both sides of the lanes. 14 tournaments, 2 titles, 11 top 10s, and 8 shows. That's this year so far. She made 18 shows last year. But the crowd's all the way down both sides, kind of an arena setting. Very neat. And I want to take really quick and let you talk about this. You had another event here, the Blue-Gray Bowl.
We did. This this past summer, we had 28 all-state bowlers from the state of Illinois come down for a 2-day clinic. And one of the things that they requested was at the end of the clinic to see what they learned to have a tournament. And we said, would be with yourselves or with somebody else? And they said, well, with ourselves. And we said, how about if we could get the all-staters from the state of Tennessee to come bowl you? They liked it, and with 2.5 weeks' notice, we staged the first interstate high school bowling championship. We call it the Blue-Gray Bowl. Obviously, the Yankees in blue shirts and the Reds in gray shirts, and it was pretty exciting.
That's wonderful. And as Carolyn strikes, you were looking at the spokesperson for high school bowling. So
we are.
Hopefully she can motivate a lot more high school students to come out and get involved with the sport.
She's certainly trying.
Leanne Barrett, number 2, as you just saw, in average and in points. She's backing off as well. And this is a much larger crowd than we've had for a few weeks. So I think that they're taking just a little time. I know from when we were down doing the opening of the show, Bob, a lot of people waving, talking, yeah, a lot going on out there.
You can't tell what an Ebonite employee is going to do.
It's not a bad thing. It's just different.
So Leanne Barrett, don't forget one thing down. She broke the million, but she's still going for that 4th title of the year, which would be huge in that Bowler of the Year race. Carolyn Doran-Ballard, one of her competitors in that race.
She got that speed up on that shot, which she was missing, I think, on that first shot, just coming back from the break, and I think she's back up to tempo now. We should look forward to a few more strikes out of Leanne.
How are you liking the tournament so far, Bob? Are you happy you sponsored it?
Oh, absolutely. It's been just a great week. It's been great competition all week. Even match play the last couple of days has just been tight. It's been just super.
Leanne Barrett with 26 titles. Match is all even right now on our mini scoreboard, sponsored by Travelodge Hotels. Spare and a strike, and Leanne with a double to take the early lead.
Got a little lucky there with that trip 4, but I'm sure she's sitting down and taking it.
Carolyn will be able to answer, possibly, to keep the match all square. Bob, a lot of remodeling. We just finished this under the gun here at Ebonite Galaxy Lanes.
Well, you were here last week.
I was.
You know that we were doing a lot of last-minute preparation, but we got it done.
I think there's a lot of things hidden behind the scenes that we're not seeing, right? You kind of pushed some things in the background. I don't know how you cleaned it all up.
A little bit.
Carolyn's taking a break as someone came into the crowd. And, you know, I just want to point out really quickly, I know people say, well, you know, basketball players shoot at hoops and with all the things going on in the background, but that's constant movement and it's expected.
The bowlers just are not used to the movement.
Plus
and
it's sudden and unexpected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on.
And she does answer the call, and Carolyn talked earlier about this bowling center and what it means to her to bowl here.
The vibes for me this week were very positive. This is where I won my first singles title. I was really excited then. I'm really excited now. Also, since then, I haven't won an Ebonite tournament. So tonight, I'm out for revenge.
Out for revenge. Do you allow that kind of behavior? She is bowling a fellow staff member.
Well, my coaching advice to both of them just before the match was bowl to win.
Ah, clever. So the match is still all even as Carolyn steps up in the 4th frame, working on 2 strikes.
Come on. And that's definitely her comfortable lane of the 2. She spent a little more time in practice lining up on that lane to begin with, but definitely that left lane favors Carolyn.
Leanne Barrett now will try to answer the call in career television versus Carolyn Doran-Ballard. She's 3-2 and has averaged .221 against her. Carolyn averaging just .207 against Leanne. That's on television. The graphic you just saw was for this year in match play during the week. 6-6. They're all even. Oh, 10-10. Is there a lot of that this week, Kim?
A lot of 10 pins, a lot of 10-pin spares to make. Now we're going to look at what Leanne does with all this fidgeting. You might notice her feet and her hands do a lot. She's aware she needs to get her feet into this unconventional position to alleviate some hip pains that she has. What lessons do we learn from this? I guess you'd say you need to set yourself in order to be consistent in your start for your finish. And we're going to show you this fidgeting that she does with her feet. She kind of holds her feet in an unconventional position there, and she's moving her hand around. It's all related to presetting her start. So if you preset, you're going to be consistent in your finish.
And a lot of the athletes out here have some kind of routine, and sometimes the motion just keeps them moving. Some people don't like to just stand completely still and then start.
That's the bowling waggle.
Oh, new term. Bowling waggle. 10-pin and now a 4-pin. Now, Bob, you do a lot with the PWBA tour. You do media challenges, and tailgate parties. Have those been successful for Ebonite?
We think they've been successful. It certainly has brought a lot of fans out to the tournament that we might not ordinarily see. And, of course, you know, we support the women's tour quite heavily, and we're extremely happy to do it.
We are glad to have you, and thank you immensely for your sponsorship of the tour. Leanne covers up the spare, so Carolyn Doran Ballard now in the lead by 12 pins. Stepping up in the fifth, she can take it to 22 with a strike here. And it's starting to look like she is out for revenge.
Presetting herself pretty carefully here. She's really trying to not mentally move ahead too quickly in this match and just focus on this one shot.
Tough break there, leaving the 6-7-10.
She just overall got a little slow, a little hesitant there because she knows she has to get it slow to deal with the oily lane, but just a little too slow, and this is what happens. Now, this was a makeable spare this week. As we know, Liz Johnson made the 7-10, the 6-7-10 with the ball sliding over as easily as it does this week. She's got a chance.
Oh, and that was close. You almost called that one, Kim. Very, very close. Did you make it this week?
I didn't, no. I made out of the Greek church, which is close to that, though. I've made 4 a few times.
Just missing that 6 pin. And that split cost Carolyn dearly. She's now down by 5 through 5 frames. We'll be right back. We're back in the semifinal match. Carolyn Doran Ballard now trailing by just 4 pins. She had that open frame while we were away. Leanne Barrett with a spare, leaving a 2-pin light, and then a strike. Carolyn backing off right now. A lot going on here this week.
It's a good thing that we don't have box in this sport.
That would be interesting. Let's look at the averages this week in the right-hand column, what they've averaged overall this season in the left-hand column. Most of the ladies higher this week. Actually, Carolyn down a bit and Barrett down a bit, both of these ladies. Come on.
And that just got a little too far right there. There's a oil to the right. We're going to take a look and see how far this ball actually got to the right. She's placing the ball around 14, and it got out past the 10 board, which is the second arrow, and that's the no zone. We want to stay away from that area. Actually, the girls started in practice today closer to the first arrow like they had earlier in the week, and I guess it just kind of went away because if it was there, Carolyn would be the first person to be there, playing there. So this is the more playable part of the lane at the moment.
Well, she'll try to cover the spare, and she got it. You know, in our grind of everyday life, we sometimes lose sight of what's really important, so I want to take a minute on behalf of PWBA to extend our sympathies to the family of Scott McLaughlin, PWBA Player Services Rep for the past 2 years, on the loss of his grandmother, Harriet Harwood, and the family of Joanne Hoppy, who we work with very closely at Travelodge, on the loss of her father, Frank Marinelli. Our prayers go out to both families. And it's difficult when you're on the road and away from family, and a lot of things happen. So we want to make sure we send our prayers out to those people. And Carolyn Doran Ballard trailing right now by 7 pins on our Travelodge scoreboard. Oh my.
A little tickle there. We've got to really see what happened here with the setup. I think her ball just kind of ran out of energy at the very end there, which left that 8 pin. But she got a little luck there. She must have found a penny heads up in the parking lot today.
You know, Carolyn also asked that I wish Gigi Wright the best. Carolyn wants to send her best wishes as she covers up that spare. Did she really find a penny?
No, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. Leanne Barrett won 3 times already this year. Normally, that's a huge year, 3 or 4 wins. Last year, after Carolyn went in 7, kind of put things in perspective a bit, but
if she had won those 3 titles last year, she'd be way behind in the race at
Exactly.
this point.
Big shot here. And that's a double. Puts her up by 18 pins as she heads into the 9th frame.
Interesting that Leanne's favorite lane is the right lane and Carolyn's favorite lane is the left lane. They should do well together in a doubles tournament.
Actually, Leanne used to be the doubles partner of Kathy Doran-Lizzie, Carolyn's sister. Okay, she's stepping up in the 9th, up by 19, or 18, excuse me, can take it to 28 with a strike here.
Getting that hand set. She's had a little bit of trouble lately keeping her hand warm so that she can throw a good felt shot off her hand. That looks good there.
Trip in the 4, a lot of 4 pins going down on lane 21.
You know, this is where we can see if Carolyn's push away was in proper form, and I think everything looked pretty good there. She executed a good shot, but again, the right lane is so much different than the left lane at this point with that extra oil on the right-hand side, right of the second arrow.
Yeah, they're showing you the two shots on the same lane.
On the same lane.
Yeah, so that you could see the difference in that shot when she left the 2-4-5.
She made up for it there.
Yes, she did. That one coming up light. Okay, Carolyn Doran-Ballard will finish first. Best she could do would be 219 if she strikes out.
She doesn't want to overthink this. I can see her trying to figure things out here. She just kind of has to take a little advice from Kathy here and just trust her instincts and just flow with the shot because she has this lane down.
Well, she really needs to strike out here to force Leanne Barrett to mark. Remember, she said she was out for revenge.
That's a strong word.
Right. Oh, my.
That timing got away from her a little bit that time. She's been working on not placing the ball so far out in front of her and keeping too late. She's trying to get herself a little earlier in her swing, and she knew she missed it right there in her swing, and she's just trying to recover from it. She's pretty natural at doing that, but that really had no chance.
So barely touching the head pin left. She'll attempt to spare this up, but the best she can shoot now is 199. Good luck. Oh, boy. Disaster there for Carolyn Doran-Ballard. Not what she wanted to do, so Leanne Barrett will advance. But first, when we return, I'll talk with a special guest to learn more about high school bowling in this week's WIBC Extra Frames. We're back and ready for the championship match of the Lady Ebonite Classic. We're at Ebonite's Galaxy Lanes in Columbia, Tennessee. I'm Jan Schmidt, along with Kim Adler. Liz Johnson, top seed of this tournament. And as we know, top seed has won 11 of the 12 singles events this year. Amazing stat.
Unbelievable in that position.
Because they come in cold, and typically that's been closer to a 50% range, 60% range, and we're at 92% on top seeds. Any explanation?
The wind, the air, the vibes, I have no idea. All just safe to say that I want to fight out everybody to get into that number 1 position.
Exactly. Leanne Barrett, her 7th show of the year. Come on, sit on it. Just laid there, didn't knock it down.
Not enough help from that pin in the gutter. Need a little more life there. Need somebody down and back there to help her out. You know, she threw a pretty good shot. You know, it's just a little transition in the lanes, as we know in a championship match. You get a little movement of the oil, and so it's time to make a small adjustment for her.
Covers it up, no problem, and it was a close one last night. I told you Kim Terrell getting into that match. She defeated Tish Johnson, who really had some tough breaks that last game. Carol Giannotti blocked back from Australia, top 10 after a knee surgery.
And we have scorekeeping in the booth with us this week, Rachel Perez. and Michelle Feldman, another Ebonite staff member.
Leanne in the second frame now, working on that spare. And another floor pin, tripping on lane 21. PWBA.com underwent a facelift over the summer and recently unveiled its new look. The Beauty runs more than skin deep. It's your information source for PWBA, including schedules, entries, players' bios, photos, and standings. Plus, it displays a complete line of the new PWBA logoed merchandise and the live scoring. Make sure you check it out. Please check out our sponsors as well. And another trip floor pin.
And you know, the thing with Liz this week is she had a really unique shot compared to everyone else. Everyone else was playing all over the lane from the first, second, third arrow. Liz stayed right in the area she's in now. She's throwing that ball 6, 7, 8 is what she told us she'd be playing, and that's exactly where she is.
And that's when you can count on Liz Johnson to make a show or be in the lead, because she's so good at doing that.
And she's the only one that can be playing that part of the lane per week. I don't know what I do. Every week I see her play there or another area, and I try and play there, and I cannot strike.
Well, she just throws harder if she needs to, and she can stay out there. She has the front three, and now's a good time to mention that there's a $10,000 bonus out there for 300 on television by Gary and Linda Feldman, Michelle's grandparents, and Bud Harvard.
Oh, you're starting early with those 3 strikes.
I am. I'm getting it out there right now, and there's some all-time titleists. Lisa Wagner, of course, the most prolific. Alita Sill, 31. Leanne Barrett, 26, pushing for 27 tonight. And Patty Costello, Tish Johnson. Carolyn Doran Ballard, one of those tied at 19. There's 4 of them there. She was hoping to get to 20.
And I'm sure that Leanne is thinking somewhere down the line about being installed into the Hall of Fame. Another good shot there from Leanne. See, she made that small adjustment, I believe, and it definitely worked out for her.
Well, she is the defending champ here and going for her 4th title of the year against Liz Johnson, who's looking for her 1st title this season. There's a look at some of those champions. Lady Ebonite Classic. There's Leanne last year, and the other year she won. Carolyn Doran Ballard up there. Kim Adler. Who's that?
I won a couple times.
Wow. Imagine that.
Very nice trophies, too.
Yes. Always a good trophy at the Lady Ebonite Classic. Leanne Barrett trailing by 10. And ouch. 2-8-10. Not really any good way to make this, is there, Kim?
You know, she might have made a small adjustment a little further left on the lane, too, to try and compensate for maybe some more hook there, and it just dead skid for her, and that's the result. You know, let's give this a run. Let's give the crowd something to cheer on here. See her make this. Do you think she's going to go for it?
No.
Get those 2 early on in a match.
Definitely, especially on a double. She's on a strike. And she gets 2. That's important on the strike. You never know when it's going to come back to haunt you. Both of these ladies, we started keeping some stats on the shows for this fall, and both of these ladies on one show are at 50% on their striking ratio. So they're striking half of the time. Leanne Barrett, 80% on spares. The one she missed was a 310, a split. Liz Johnson, 100%. No open free. That only through 1 telecast this year though.
Well, we just had a graphic up there concerning her being the 3rd woman to shoot a 300 on television. Maybe she's going to become the 4th as well.
Maybe, and she received $50,000 for that 300 from Travelodge. Nice bonus. The other 2 were Carr Honeychurch and, of course, Michelle Feldman, who unfortunately did it before there was a bonus available. 4th TV show and 8 top 10s. Not a bad season. She's been struggling off and on with a little bit of lower back problem. She has a herniated disc.
Great shot there. She really stayed down with that shot. She's trying to stay a little slower on that lane compared to the first lane, compared to the right lane. She's staying slow, which is something she's been working on.
Leanne Barrett, the travel partner of Kim Terrell, who you saw earlier, and she said that works well for her. She feeds off of Kim a lot. They talk a lot, and it's definitely helped her this year. And that's true in many cases. It helps when you room and get along with somebody. Your success can be passed along.
They have the same temperament, and it just kind of breeds within the room. and the traveling.
I know you and I experienced that when we roomed for a period of time. I won my first title and you won yours, right?
I won my first title.
Yes, immediately following. Or
We ate well in the restaurants for a couple weeks there.
yes, so a lot of finding a good roommate, very, very important. You have to get along, live together,
Yes.
do your routine. So Leanne Barrett now under the gun here. She'll need to continue striking.
Taking a little extra time there.
Oh, well, the 4-pin trip. But
Yeah,
the
we
pin
saw the
still
trick
there.
4 there.
Leanne's 1-2 on television career versus Liz Johnson. Leanne only averaging 198 against Liz Johnson on TV, and Liz averaging 229 against Leanne Barrett on TV. Pretty big difference there.
Now Liz has just been what we consider the epitome of consistency here. She's trying to keep it at 6, 7, 8 in that range. Right up 6, 7 then. Little trip 4 there, same shot. Are these the same 3 shots? 'Cause that's what it looks like.
And those were her last 3. This is 5, and
That was
okay.
definitely not the same shot. In fact, you could see the ball was slowing down at the pins a lot more so than those replays. So that tells us that she definitely got a little slow on that shot. A little carryover from the left lane.
Well, that turned things around very quickly here. At least put Leanne Barrett a little bit closer to the match. She takes the wood, smart to take the 2 pins.
Now, you would never know it by looking at Liz's face that she's probably a little upset with her shot there. She's very cool, calm. You never really tell what her emotions are. She's one of those poker faces, and she's pretty much emotional like the rest of us when it comes to this. Thinking about a good shot here.
She's in the lead now by 27. Max score possible for her if she strikes out 262. Leanne Barrett 235, best she could do. 10 pin. And she'll change balls and just try to convert the spare. Okay, she covers it up and will return in a moment to see who will be this year's Lady Ebonite. Right now, the scales are tipped for Liz Johnson's favor. She's in the lead by 27 pins. Newly remodeled Galaxy lanes, and there's a look at the Vantech Active lane. It glows in the dark, stripes down the lane.
Wow, look at that. I hope they can direct the direction of my ball hitting the pocket with that, too.
You know, I think they're working on that. While we were away, Leanne Barrett with a double. Liz Johnson leaving a 10-pin sparing up, so Liz in the lead by 16 pins as she steps up in the 9th frame. Oh, no.
Hit it?
Oh, okay. All right, look, here's the deal. She picked up the 710 this week. She
can
picked
do
it
it.
up
She
against
can do it.
Maxine Nabel, and she picked it up on lane 21. Yes, right here on this lane, she picked up the 710 this week. It's her 2nd time in her career. She throws hard enough, but she says she went at the 7-pin. She doesn't usually
Is she
do
going to
that.
go for the
You think
7
she
pin
will?
this time? I think she's thinking about it.
I
She's
would be.
stepping up to the right-hand side of the approach, so she's going for the 7 pin.
She's going to go for this.
Give me a replay here.
Throwing it hard. Sit down, Leanne. Oh, she got the pin to kick out, and that's how she did it the last time. It rolled across. She was thinking about it.
I don't think she threw it hard enough, but she took out that imaginary 4-pin on the rack. No, the 4-pin wasn't there, unfortunately.
She gave it a whirl, and you'd have to. I mean, what are the odds? It's
Yeah,
going to happen
exactly.
right there, same lane. Tough break
And
for Liz Johnson.
Before we forget, I know Conrad and Karen, Liz's parents, I know you're watching at home, and Liz wants to wish you guys a happy anniversary. And also, Conrad, you old hoot. I guess it's your birthday, too, so happy birthday.
Okay, Leanne Barrett now stepping up in the 9th. Leanne Barrett with a strike. strike. The rest of the finishers that we had this week, Maxine Mabel, Australia, always in the top 24, and Shelley Shermer, she racked up a perfect no-tap score, 300, 300, 300 in the Pro-Am.
Fellow Floridian Marcia Kamrowski, and another solid finish for Karen Stroud in 23rd. Perfect shot here. She's perfectly lined up, great shot, fully executed, very confident.
That was huge. That gave her the lead. Leanne Barrett now in the lead by 7 pins. She can strike this one out and take it right away from Liz Johnson. The top seed dominance in jeopardy here.
Oh, she got that
right. Oh, no. Liz can't believe it.
Interesting. Making it interesting.
I hear people in the background
showing
muttering,
a little emotion
she
there.
has to get
Yeah.
that.
Now, this is possible. There's a way to make this as a right-handed bowler, kind of hooking it as a backup ball as a
backup,
left-handed
exactly.
bowler, as well as throwing it pretty hard, which I think she can do too.
Well, if she doesn't spare this, Liz Johnson will just need a mark. She takes one. For a score of 198, Liz Johnson will need a mark.
Now, this has not been a favorite lane for Liz as of late, with her open in the 6th.
And she left a 10 pin in the 8th and spared it.
She's got to think somewhat conservatively, but not too much. That fine line.
Oh, and not a simple spare.
But the back pin, the 8 pin, did move off slightly. We're going to see it here on their shot. She was a little hesitant there off her hand, not as clean as the others, and it tickled the back pin a little bit. She's hoping it on, get that 10 pin out of there. Okay, now we make the spare.
Right, almost with 2-8-10 Leanne just left. But you're right, with the 8 pin over a little bit.
It should help to make the spare.
Yes, if she comes in on the
From
right
the
side.
right-hand side, yes. A little extra breath. She's got it. She's got it.
She covers it up, but right now she'll need just 1 pin on this ball. And it is something about the top three. It's magic this year. And Leanne, look at the disappointment. It's like, oh, can I just do that shot over?
Kind of anticlimactic for Leanne.
Yes. 11 out of 12. Now make it 12 out of 13.
And that's it. She's got it.
So Liz Johnson grabs her first title of the season. It's the Lady Ebonite Classic champion. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Liz Johnson is the champion of the Lady Ebonite Classic. Final score 205 to 198, and she collects her awards. Bill Scheid, president of Ebonite International, with the trophy, and Glenn Pavey, manager of Ebonite's Galaxy Lanes, with the check. So Liz Johnson posts her 11th career victory. Remember to tune in next Monday 1 hour earlier at 10 p.m. Eastern for the Greater Pasadena Open from Diamond Lanes in Pasadena, Texas. For Kim Adler, I'm Jan Schmidt. Until next week, stay safe. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.